Yes! Hi guys, welcome to Nerd Bites, and this is going to be my spoiler review for WWE's pay-per-view Money in the Bank. Great pay-per-view. I mean, it had its flaws and it had some matches here and there that a bit, but overall a great pay-per-view, and God, there was some awesome stuff going on. Of course there will be spoilers. I will be talking about every single match apart from the pre-show. Don't really care about that. But so make sure you've seen the pay-per-view before you check my review. Pre-show, I'm not really going to talk about it. The only thing I will say is sunburn. Really? What the fuck? Let's move on. The first match was the tag team title 4-way. It was New Day, The Club, Enzo and Cass, and the Vaudevillains. New Day picked up the win. They retained, which I'm fine with. I don't mind that. Which leads me to believe that SummerSlam is when they're probably going to lose it, because that means they've had an entire year then. It was a good match. There were some good spots in it. However, there was 2 or 3 botches, and one of the most noticeable ones is at one point where Anderson is on top of Big E. He's about to deliver the big ending, and Gallows is just standing there looking at him because obviously someone else missed their cue. That was an awkward moment, and then obviously Big Cass appears to make his moment that he should have done 20 seconds ago. That was really noticeable, but you know. The next match was Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler again! I mean, come on! This has got to be the end now. Corbin went over, which is good because again it builds him up as a character, but this has to be the end of this feud now. He has to be moving on to the next person, building up and just tearing through some other people. The only thing I can really remember is a quick, pretty forgettable match is alright, but one of the things is when Ziggler kind of botched the move. He jumped up on the steel steps and slipped, but Corbin, wow, he caught him, swung around and delivered it and dropped him onto the floor. I mean, he literally just managed to save that. Hats off to Corbin. I mean, Ziggler must be giving him a round of applause backstage. Next was the women's match. It was a tag match. It was Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Becky and Natalya. Again, it was a pretty forgettable match. It was alright, it wasn't too bad, a few bits and bobs here and there, but overall it was pretty forgettable. Again, there's no title on the line, it's not really that great to be perfectly honest. Charlotte and Dana pick up the win, as I thought they would do, but the thing I didn't expect, which was quite a shocker, and a lot of people don't like it, but I thought, I didn't see this coming, so therefore I think it's a positive. Natalya turned on Becky, beat the shit out of her and left. And, I think that's fine. I don't mind seeing them having a match against each other at the next pay-per-view. I'm fine with that. Next match was Apollo Crews versus Sheamus. Should have really built this up a little bit more before going in for this match. They should have built it up for a few more weeks rather than just I think it was 2 weeks they built it up. It wasn't really enough, to be perfectly honest. Apollo went over, which is good because they need to build him up as well as they do with Corbin. The only problem is it was a roll-up. Now that doesn't really show Apollo Crews' skill. He's a hell of a skilled athlete. It should have been a clean win rather than just a quick roll-up win type thing. But it does stoke the anger in Sheamus, which can lead to a better storyline between them as long as they continue. So I'm like that with it. Next match, considered one of the best matches of the night. AJ Styles versus John Cena. A really good match. I really enjoyed their match. It was awesome. Cena shows he can still perform. I'm not a massive Cena fan, but he shows he's a workhorse. He can really deliver when it's necessary. And him and AJ work really well together. AJ was awesome. I mean, all the time you could just show how much better AJ is than Cena. He was running circles over him. Really awesome match. Plenty of awesome spots as well. The only thing I would say is the ending is a little bit. I would have preferred AJ to go over clean. He won the match. Good. That's a good thing. But it's the fact that the ref was knocked down just before an AA, then the Club came out, delivered a magic killer to Cena, and then he was dragged over the top and he picked up the win. I know he didn't, told them not to come out, they shouldn't have come out, but they did, and it's kind of like, it's a little bit of a cheap victory. I don't need every single person that's a heel to have a shenanigan win every time. Winning clean is probably a good thing, and he should have done that. But it depends how they build it into the next pay-per-view. Next match was the Money in the Bank ladder match. As far as I'm concerned, match of the night, absolutely incredible. It was Cesaro, Jericho, Ambrose, Owens, Zayn and Del Rio, and it was absolutely incredible. Loads of spots, loads of moments, as you would expect with ladders involved all the time, trying to reach that Money in the Bank briefcase, and God, it was a hell of a match. Every single person had their moment. You had everyone doing their different moves, and one of the main things, Jesus Christ, I'm surprised that Owens is still alive after this. He took, I think it was a powerbomb from Zayn, onto the edge of the ladder, and I don't mean like the flat part, I mean it was up on its side and it hit the edge, the point, straight down his back. fuck me, that must hurt. And he got back up 5 minutes later and carried on. I thought that was him done, but God, he's a powerhouse. He just powered through that, and it was, wow. Ambrose picked up the win here, absolutely awesome. I mean, I would have been happy with Owens, I would have been happy with Zayn, I would have been happy with Cesaro, to be perfectly honest. But my favourite guy, and the one that's logical to me considering the main event and who's in it, is Ambrose, and yet him winning was brilliant. The next match was Rusev versus Titus O'Neil for the US title, and pretty much the piss break match. I was kind of looking forward to it, but it ended up being a little bit lackluster. It never really went anywhere. The only thing I think it did is built Rusev as a heel a bit more. Yes, he still retained his title. Titus tapped out to the Accolade. The one thing I quite liked was the fact that he went to Titus's family and just mocked them, and then just went Happy Father's Day, and off he went. It builds him as a heel well, and I'm glad that we've got Rusev in this position again, because where he was before just was not working. But yeah, a pretty standard match, but it helps Rusev. The main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, his first match since he's been back. A little bit of ring rust, but not too much, not really that noticeable. I will say that it was a bit slow getting off the ground. It was a little bit, took a bit of time to get building on this match, and eventually it got there. There were some really awesome spots back and forth. Rollins, just proved that he was awesome. Reigns, he worked well, I can't deny that. He worked quite well, enjoyed it. One of my favourite spots, just he was going for a spear. Rollins countered it into a pedigree. He literally jumped up, his head went straight to the legs, and he plopped him down. Fuck, that was a hell of a counter. Never would have seen that coming in a million years. I wouldn't even thought to do that. Brilliant. Rollins wins clean as well. I'm gobsmacked that they've done this, because they're built, Vince McMahon is so behind Roman Reigns, wants him to be the big guy, the best guy, no one can beat him, he's awesome, he's the next Cena, he's the next Rock, all this kind of crap. But no, they let Rollins beat him clean, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Absolutely awesome. And then the next bit that happened was just so good. Just as he's celebrating his win, Dean Ambrose music hits, and you're like, oh my god. And he's looking at the Titantron, he's not coming up, and then Dean comes up from behind him, hits him with the briefcase, cashes in his Money in the Bank, hits him with the Dirty D's. 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose is your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and fuck, that was an epic way to end a pay-per-view. Seriously, I'm so happy. It really pushes well on his character. It's like, I'm not going to fuck about, I'm going to cast this fucker in and get that belt around my waist. Brilliant, epic way to end it. And it also means a little side point as well, that all members of the Shield held that belt in one night. Awesome little moment. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. Yes, it had its matches, but it had some really good matches in there as well. Good spots, good moments, and one of the best Money in the Bank moments we've ever had at the end, with Dean cashing in on Rollins. Absolutely epic, and I think it's fair to give it 4 stars. So that's what I thought of WWE's Money in the Bank 2016. What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments, or send me an email. You can also find me in the various social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MoviePilot.com. Just type in Nerdbytes anywhere, and I'm sure you'll find me. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos. And of course, keep it nerdy.